Hello and welcome to the review for this 4K Ultra HD camcorder. It happens to be 30 megapixels. I picked it up from the seller Rainbow Day on Amazon.com. I'll have a link in the description below if you want to go check out one for yourself. The first thing I'm going to do is mention the price. This is $169 and it is one of 4 options you can buy from this particular seller. The next thing we're going to be doing is unboxing it so I can show you what comes inside. Once you have everything unboxed, you're left with this. A warranty card, user's manual, remote control, lithium-ion battery, HDMI cable, USB charging cable and transfer cable, the camera itself, and a storage bag. It should be known that this storage bag, although stylish and chic, is good for only holding the camcorder itself. Not really any additional accessories are going to be held inside this. And you can see this simple loop here is meant to go around your belt or any other type of carrying device. The first thing we're going to have to do is insert some type of memory card. This does use SD memory cards. I happen to have an extra one. In order to do so, there's a small flap at the bottom. Flip it open, take your memory card, insert it just like you would any other modern device. Hear that little satisfying click. Close the door, you're good to go with that. Next thing you need to do is take the lithium-ion battery. It goes about 3/4 of the way up, so it slides in. Hear that satisfying click. We're ready to go. And we're basically ready to start filming. There is no traditional off button on this. You just close the screen and it is no longer on. I'm going to list all the stats from the maker's website right now. But just to run through them really quickly with you, it is a 4K Ultra HD camcorder, so it's shooting in full 4K, but that is at 30 frames per second. More on that later. You can do 120 frames per second, but at a reduced 720p. It is a max 30 megapixel digital camera, so that's great to have. And one of the things I find most impressive, it has LED lights for filming at night. Like most camcorders of this style, it has a grip strap that you can slide over your hand to securely hold on to it. If you flip the screen open, we can see inside it has power and light, menu, display, Wi-Fi. Yes, this is Wi-Fi enabled. You can connect this camcorder to your cell phone. If we switch to the top, you'll notice that it has this external sliding slot so that you can mount an extra light or a microphone to it. On the side here, we have the landscape and macro button. More on that in a minute. Here's your zoom function. Has your digital camera button, so if you want to just take a picture at any time. It also doesn't interrupt the filming, which is nice. And then your mode selector for all your different settings. Here's your camcorder button. So once you open it up, as soon as it boots up, if you want to start recording, and that's it. Now you're recording. Press it again to stop. It also tells us how much time we have left on the memory card that's in there at the 4K setting. So, although I can use the menu button to sync through all of these, I'm going to go ahead and use the supplied remote to do most of it for me. It's not like I can't select them using the buttons on the camcorder itself, but I find it just easier to toggle through like this. So what we're going to do is go up to movie size, select it, and we're going to go to the lowest setting, which is 720p at 60 frames per second, and back all the way out. And you can see now that we have 4 hours, 13 minutes, and 57 seconds that we can record on that same memory card. Although the battery won't last that long, it's good to know that if you want to film more, but at a reduced quality, you definitely can. Although it's not a must-have for this camcorder, I would highly recommend a tripod in order to maximize your stabilization. The small camera does make it a bit difficult to stay perfectly steady, especially if you have shaky hands like me, so I highly recommend picking up a cheap tripod. I bought this one at Best Buy for $15. I know what you're most interested, and that's the 4K recording ability. We are currently in 4K, and I'm trying to hold my hand as steady as possible as I pan around the room. As you can see, it adapts to a low light situation very well. If I move over to the sunny side of the room, it's auto dimming, but if I move to that dark room, you can see it brightens right up. This is one of the redeeming qualities of this camera. As we walk into the lower lit room, it suddenly brightens up. And in the film, it's almost brighter than it is in actual life, which is very impressive. If we move up to the light, it auto dims. If we move down to the shadows, it brightens up the room. So this is pretty good for a low light situation. In order to show you how best this camera functions in its different frames per second and different video resolution qualities, I'm going to be filming my car as it drives past at the same speed each time. I will then call out which one it is as I go by in the video. This camcorder also surprised me in the fact that it has a slow-mo shot mode, which is relative to 720p, but let's demonstrate that right now. This camera has many features, including changing the movie size, which is the whole 720, 1080p, and so on, the video quality, the exposure, the white balance, any kind of effects, if you want time lapses, lapse duration, slow motion. You can also choose between the language, whether you want the annoying beeps to be on, light frequency, power save, all sorts of other things. But one of the features I like the most is the time lapse, mostly because I can set the duration right from here, up to 60 minutes. Show off the distance that the zoom is capable of. We are now fully maxed out on zoom. I just wanted to demonstrate how the macro function works on the side of the camera. We are in landscape mode currently, but if I switch to macro, you can see all the little details get just a little bit finer. Another advantage to the cost effectiveness of this new camera is it allows me to have two cameras. One, looking at my beautiful mug, and two, being able to show my working surface here at the same time. That way, we never miss a beat. Let's talk about some of the positives. One, the price. The outstanding price of $169.99 on Amazon. Again, link below if you want to go pick up one for yourself. Two, the ability to do time-lapse shots in 4K. My current Canon camera that I use for everything vlogging-wise, or at least I used to, is only capable of 1080p. Which is great, but it's not 4K. Having two cameras now is a wonderful addition. Also, the price, back again to the price, allows me to take more risky shots with it. If I want to put the camera really low to the ground and drive really fast past it for my other show, I can now, and not really worry about it. I really like the LED functions on the side of the light. Let me show you that right now. We have the first light, the white light, and then both lights combine, which creates more of a natural light setting. It's extremely bright, as you can tell in this video. The ability to mount an external light with that mount on top of the camcorder, or the ability to plug in a normal audio in jack if you're using a standalone microphone or a wireless one, is a huge deal. Both are things that my Canon can't do. So again, the $169 camcorder has those features, but my $500 Canon doesn't. Overall, I would rank this camera at 4 out of 5 stars. It loses a little bit because of the non-stabilized internal structure of it, so if you're walking around you've got a bit of a shaky cam going on, but if it's on a tripod, you're fine. And honestly, most of the work I do is always going to be on a tripod, so that really doesn't affect me like it would other people. If you were, say, walking around Venice holding this camcorder, you might have a bit of a problem. Most software now can fix stabilization like that, but you should just know that it doesn't have any internal stabilization. The zoom could be a little bit further, but again, it's super cheap, so I can't really mark it down for it. Otherwise, I think for $169, it's an excellent deal. I would highly recommend that anyone picks one up. Again, 4 out of 5 stars, very good working camcorder for me, and the battery life has done this whole shoot. Okay, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next review.